Bedard up top. Suzdalev shoots. Pat save in front by Hauser. Bedard gets it back. Right side. A shot. Score! It's a hat trick against the Winnipeg Ice. Connor Bedard goes top corner. His 57th goal of the season. Howe holds it in the line. Now to Svozil. Right point to Howe. In tight. Down low to Svozil. Right side to the net. Loose puck. He scores! Dan is the man! Pats would love to extend their winning streak to 6 straight. Bedard racing over the Rebels line. Takes the puck into the corner. Centered in front. Svol scores! Alexander Suzdalev! In along the boards. Feathers it in front. There's Howe on his backhand. Back into the slot. Bedard. Svozil in front. Score! Valis right on the doorstep.
Welcome to Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. With your hosts, Chris Clark and Kevin Shaw. Episode 133, March 5th, 2023. Coming off a 3-3 weekend. It's tough to see that last game kind of end this good stretch of games, but looking back at it, a weekend as a whole, pretty solid weekend, wasn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, I don't really know what to say about this weekend other than Pats beat the Ice, the Rebels, and I guess they kind of ran out of steam on Sunday, but they beat the Ice, something they haven't done in forever. So
never. Well, the Winnipeg Ice, never.
The Winnipeg version of the Ice.
Yeah. What was it, 21 games straight?
21 games.
Yeah.
I think it was 20 in Winnipeg plus 1 with Cranbrook, I think, or in Cranbrook, but still.
Okay.
Over 20 games, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, the monkey off the back there, that maybe, propelled them into that regular game. But, I mean, it was a decent start to the game. There was good chances both ways. Sim made some really good stops in the first period. And then you get into the second period, and it's like, 3 goals pretty quick into the second period. 6 minutes in, you're down 3-0, and you're like thinking,
bam, bam, bam. I'm like, oh, not again.
Yeah, and you're thinking, no, that's it, right? Like, we've seen this song and dance. The Pats have not been able to come back. Yes, they've had leads on Winnipeg before, never been able to finish, let alone come back from a deficit against Winnipeg.
Yeah, and with the Bedard reply to get the Pats back into it, just like not even a minute later, I think they kind of stemmed the tide, and it seemed to flip a switch for the Pats, and the Ice just, I don't know, their game changed. It felt like it changed. They weren't coming at the Pats as prolific as they normally do.
Yes, I noticed that as well. Like, it didn't have that transition game per se, like that really stuff where they took over. Like last game here, it took them 2 periods to get that game going. And then the third period was just an onslaught from Winnipeg. Here, the Pats were able to just stem that tide the whole game, it seemed. It seemed like Winnipeg was off, and you mentioned that, right? At the game, it didn't seem like Winnipeg was quite up to snuff. But, I mean, they were playing, I think, the 10th game of a road trip.
Yeah, 9th or 10th game of a road trip. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough run for a team even that good, right? They lost in Medicine Hat on Wednesday night. And I said to you, I'm like, that's not the greatest outcome. First of all, Medicine Hat winning picks up 2 points on the Pats. And then, Winnipeg might be out for blood on Friday because, they lost a game.
Well, they scored the first 3 goals. I'm like, oh no.
And they also had a lead in that Medicine Hat game. They were up 2-0. And they gave away that lead. So it was like, oh, they're really out for it here on Friday night. And it was like, oh, this might be rough. But, I mean, yeah, Bedard gets that first goal, and it was a great work by Howe and Stringer on the forecheck. And Bedard was just a recipient of a great pass, a great effort by those guys, and he just put it in the back of the net. And then he scores the second one. And then Howe gets another one. So it's 3-3, right? You're even going to the third period, and that's kind of the thought we had last game. It's like, oh, they have a chance, right? And then
and the last time it didn't work out.
Exactly, right? It just went, the wheels just blew off. But Bedard scores early in that third period, and you're like, okay, and then I don't want to say they hung on for that period. Like, it wasn't an onslaught by Winnipeg. in that third period. It wasn't like they were hanging on. It was pretty kind of even. I mean, the shots were...
Yeah, it was a pretty even third period. Yeah.
The shots were 10-9 Regina. That's not what you expect when the Pats are up a goal against Winnipeg. You think it would be a 20-5 kind of Winnipeg favored shot total. Like, we've seen some pretty bad periods recently, like that Brandon game, right?
Yeah, the third period seems to be a sore spot for the Pats, like shot wise. Like, I don't know if they slack off or whatever, and the other team usually dominates on the shot clock. But
they've held on to leads in the third period, so it's been turning out. But like you said, there's been some lopsided play in the third period. But and then empty netter, how huge block, like he just laid on the ice because he was going the other way, right? He's just, I'm laying here because that probably hurt, and Bateman with some blocks, and so I mean,
the team basically sold out for that game, and it was awesome. It was awesome to see the crowd reaction. It was, and their reaction when Bedard scored the empty net goal. It was pretty awesome. Yeah,
you watch the replay, and you just see everybody jumping up in the camera view. Yeah. So no, that was great. I mean, a great start to the weekend. Like we kind of, I don't know if we undersold them a bit, but we're like 2-3 points this weekend, and then boom, 2 right off the bat, right? So
to me, these were the bonus points almost.
Yeah, right.
I honestly didn't see them beating Winnipeg.
No, and I mean, you look at history; it's been a tough go with them, and
but it was bound to happen, and
it was going to happen.
And it was a perfect time. Their 9th straight road game. The Pats were on a roll, were on a roll at that point in time, and just perfect.
The perfect storm, right? It just worked out, right? So I mean, finally gets it done. Svozil, man, that guy's hot, right? Like, that guy's making plays, making passes, scoring goals. In a nice one on Saturday night against Red Deer, but like he's on another level almost again, right? He's just
he makes passes that most players wouldn't even think of doing.
Yeah,
like especially defensemen. Like, he's an offensive defenseman, but even offensive defensemen don't make those backdoor passes through 3 pairs of legs and to Suzdalev or whomever. It's unbelievable. Like, I don't know what to say about him. He's probably the best import defenseman the Pats have had.
Yeah, no doubt. So, like, I think it was in the Winnipeg game where he went around the net. He made that pass through the slot to Bedard, but it went off a stick or a skate. Was that the Winnipeg game, or was that the Red Deer game? I can't remember, but
I can't remember. He had quite a few points this weekend. So
yeah, right.
It was on one of the goals.
I can't remember which one it was, but it went. It was off just a touch of a skate or a stick, and then Bedard took it off his skate and scored, right? Like, it was just like, man, that he threaded that needle so nicely. Like, it was, I don't know, maybe his parents being here just gave him that extra boost or something, but whatever it was, it's working for him, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's nice. It's nice to have an offensive defenseman like that. It's unfortunate that this is his last year. But I don't know what to say other than he's seems like he's really good, but he's getting better
still.
So he's continually getting better. Every game he's getting better. The defensive side, maybe not, because he's an offensive guy.
Yeah.
He's not meant to be a defensive guy, but he's turning into an all-around good defenseman.
Yeah, but we've seen his defensive play improve since last season, right? It was pretty rough at the start of last season. Like, you see
different leagues.
Yeah, exactly. And you've seen he had that offensive mindset, but he was taking way too many chances and not. Now he knows what to do, when to take a chance, and he can circle back. Like, he's smart enough now to make the smart decisions, right?
And he's averaging like 1.55 points per game this year.
Yeah,
which is phenomenal. So
yeah.
No complaints for me with his play.
No, not at all. And like you said, you've seen that last year. You've seen that he's got it, and it's coming to fruition. You got anything else on Winnipeg Friday night?
No, other than the fact that I was happy they won.
Yeah.
It was nice to see them get the win. It was nice to see how happy they were and how loud the crowd was when they got the empty net goal. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll hear from the coaches and players now.
We've been playing good for a while, so we continue to play good. We probably, in leading up to the game, probably talked a little bit more about certain things to play against them. And when you have the best 17-year-old player in the world, if you do enough things right, you can beat teams. We didn't give. You're right. We didn't give them a lot of space. I felt really all game. The goals. It was a bad read in the corner. We tried to make a body check, and they scored in front in the second period. A couple guys went to guys. So, but overall, I thought we did a good job in the neutral zone, which is really important against them, and a good job on our own end defending. So, and then our offensive skill took over instead of theirs. Usually it's theirs. They're a pretty deep and good team. Well, I think it's a lot of the players weren't here. In 2019, so I don't think that means anything to them. But I think beating them this year, where they are in the country, and we're just our game is getting a little bit better. So I think it's important to the players. We were tied first game in there this year. We were tied 4-4 after 2, and then we just sort of found ways to give it away, like literally give it away. And I think we were up 3-2 here. I don't know if they made it 3-3 before the end of the second period there, a week or two ago, or whether they scored early in the third and they just blew us away. So it's a big win for our team.
How about your goalie coming up big there?
Yeah, he was outstanding. They cut about 5 or 6 guys with 60-plus points, and he made lots of big saves.
John, you've seen a lot of big games by Connor. Where does this one stand, though, against this team, the situation you were in, how he just kind of, and we talked about this, how he's able to just pull guys in with him. He started to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, it's probably right up there. It's probably right. It's definitely right up there. I don't think we take him for granted, but we've seen a lot of things in the big games, like big performances, and so it's definitely right up there. I think when he was younger, even like last year when he came back from the World Junior when it was canceled or cut down there, when his dad drove right back, we played Moose Jaw. He had 4 goals in that game, the winner in overtime. And it's still he's 16. It's still a little bit of a wow factor, and so this is a wow factor. But it's not the first time this year. We go into Victoria and Howell get 5 and 6 or whatever points each, and we beat Medicine Hat 6 whatever, and he gets a goal and 5 assists. But the stage was big against Winnipeg and against some of his contemporaries and national TV. Pretty big.
That one felt really good. I didn't feel great the couple days leading up to it, so I put a little extra emphasis on what I had to do to get ready for it, and it paid off. I wasn't here for all of it, but I've been here long enough. It feels amazing to beat those guys. Yeah, that was awesome. Luke pulled one off the goal line, and Howie ate one off the thigh, so that's multiple times this last 2 weeks. I think he's done that, so I'm super happy they're willing to put the bodies on the line, especially this time of year. Yeah, for sure. He can take over a game at any minute, so if he stays not frustrated, he can take over at any chance, and he's going to get his chances to score, and there's not many goalies that can stop him in this league over and over. So to have a guy like him that when you're down like that can just kind of take over the game and control the game like that's huge. There's always something new with him, so it's fun to watch for me too. Well, we're not in the playoffs yet, so there's another level for me. Everyone elevates. John says it all the time. There's 4 times you need to elevate your game, and down the stretch is one of them. So I think as a team we've done a great job in elevating our game and really working on what we need to do to win hockey games, especially close ones like that. And I believe I have another level. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're #1 in the country for a reason. They got so many great players, and they're a great team. They play together, and for us it's been obviously a long stretch. You know, even for myself, since getting in the league, you know, teams we haven't been able to beat them yet. So it feels good. I think you know, obviously we got to play really smart against them with the talent they have, and you know, I thought we really did that, and I think that shows kind of the buy-in we have. I mean, I think if you know, ask anyone, the top team in the league, you're gonna try to play your best, and not that you don't try to all the time, but you know, just that extra motivation of, you know, we want to be able to say we beat that team, and you know, to be the best, you got to beat the best, and you know, I think that's our mindset going in against them, and you know, it feels good to beat them. No panic. I mean, it's gonna happen, and you know, I think the boys are just kind of saying, let's get going, let's get the next one, and that's all you can worry about. You know, it's 3-0, and you know, you can't change that. So we just, you know, went to work and obviously changed a few small things, and you know, we were able to come up with the win. Yeah, I mean, that first one, I think, you know, that's kind of, you know, what we need to do. I think Howie in strings. I mean, make an unreal play going in on the forecheck, and obviously a great pass by Howie, and you know, I was lucky enough to, you know, be the beneficiary of it, but. You know, I think that sets the tone when you watch those guys go in and go to battle, and you know, go in the tough areas and get the puck and create a goal. So that was huge, and then kind of the next one, obviously, unreal pass by Stan. So you know, I think those were two big ones for us to get. Yeah, he's been unbelievable this season. I think you know, with his you know, work in the summer and how focused he was coming into the year, it's you know, really awesome to see that pay off. And you know, he's been our backbone. He's been, you know, our MVP all year, and you know, for us, we're so lucky to kind of have a guy like that. You know, we have so much trust in him, and when Piner's playing as well, we have so much trust in our goalies. And you know, Simmer's been great this year.
Do you feel third periods are different for you guys recently?
Yeah, for sure. I think the guys that came back really learned a lot from last year. We had so many games. I think it was like 6-7 in a row where we're tied or we have a lead, and then we ended up kind of losing that. And you know, I think that was obviously not good. You don't want that to happen, but for us to learn and go through that and kind of, you know, figure out what went wrong for us last year has been, you know, almost a benefit for this year. But you know, I think we've been good, and Simmer's a big part of that.
All right, so into Red Deer. Pine gets a start. I mean, that's not too surprising. You knew he was going to probably play at least one this weekend, and they kind of allude to it after the game that Sim was going to play Sunday. So Pine gets Red Deer again, and I mean, went to overtime in Red Deer. You know, could have won that one, didn't. So I mean, I thought he played all right. I mean, there's a couple goals that maybe he wanted back. He kind of got spun around, but
he was scrambly.
Scrambly, right? It almost looked like what game was it? He struggled in the first period there last week. Brandon, yeah, the Brandon game, right? He was battling the puck, but you know, he had a decently solid game tonight. I mean, 40 shots. You know, again, like we mentioned, getting outshot heavily, 40-20 in this game. Dominated in the face-off circle, 34-18. Like the Pats
and still pick up a win
and still get the win. And yeah, you'll hear after John's comments on this, and he was like, yeah, we kind of got away with one tonight. So yeah, I don't know if you know, coming off that Winnipeg high, the winning streak, you know, not that they were coasting or anything. It was just Red Deer's a good team, right? They still play that physical game. They're offensive as well.
But going from a smaller-ish like Winnipeg team, they're not super big.
Yeah.
That are super fast, going against a Red Deer team that is
heavy,
fairly big. Their defense is monsters, especially Fabrizi. That guy's massive, and they've got some solid goaltending. But the Pats just found a way.
Yeah, it seems the Pats can put up some goals on this Red Deer team. Like you scored, what was it, 5 or 6 last time in Red Deer in that overtime game, and then you know, they had 20 shots on net and they scored 6 goals. It was, you had mentioned it, hey, look at, they've scored like a goal every 3 shots, and then all of a sudden 3 shots later they scored, and then it was 3 shots again and they scored. Yep. It was like, what is going on here? Like it was kind of weird. But
and the overtime goal was almost 3 shots after that. So
yeah, so but I mean, yeah, just battle back, right? Like it was a back and forth game.
Finding ways to win.
Yeah,
that's what teams need to do. Like, you can be the most offensively talented team, the best defensive team, but if you find ways to win, you find ways to win, and that's what the Pats are doing.
A win's a win, 2 points are 2 points, right? Like, especially over a top team like this.
Especially after coming off a game against the top team in the conference.
Yeah.
The night before.
You can always have that letdown, right?
Yeah.
And they managed to grind it out, right? You know, maybe it was Valis getting thrown back onto the top line. Maybe that sparked something with him scoring 2 goals within, what was it here, like
minute
and a half, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the Pats were down 3-1 at one point in time. So they battle back. They find ways to battle back. Earlier in the season, last year, they get a 2-3 goals down. They pretty much be folding up the tents and going home kind of thing. But
and then even to give up the tying goal with a minute to go, you know, the empty net. You know, with Red Deer having the empty net and scoring, and then you lose that, not momentum, but you just lose that, like, oh, we were that close, right? And then to come out and win it in overtime is nice, right?
But even taking it to overtime, that's 3 points. That's 500 on the weekend.
Yeah,
I would have been happy with that. But then the overtime, it was good. I'm happy with this one too.
Obviously, Bedard doing his thing. I mean, drawing 3 guys to him. Like, and then having the wherewithal to find Suzdalev wide open. And I think the goalie, you know what he's doing. He's trying to stop that pass, but he should have just stayed in his net and dealt with Suzdalev one-on-one, whereas Suzdalev had an opening.
I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, he had an open net, right? Easy for him to score that goal.
Like he tried to poke check and make a big save at the same time.
Yeah,
but,
no. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. You see the Pats doing that, you know, they get puck focused, and the one guy, you even watch the replay, the one guy, he even turned and looked, and I don't know if he didn't see Suzdalev there, but come on, there's one guy in the corner, and all 3 guys are looking at him. There's 2 guys wide open somewhere, right? Or
they didn't think he'd get the pass through.
Or maybe, that, right?
So 2 guys right beside him, they figured maybe he would have been stick checked or whatever, but Bedard, being Bedard, got the pass over to Suzdalev, and yeah.
Exactly, right? So, like you said, 1 point there would have been good. 2 points is even better. 4 points on the weekend.
Great.
Yeah, 4 points on the weekend, so right away, boom. That's a successful weekend, right?
That's better than we were expecting.
Yeah.
Better, I think maybe even better than they were expecting.
Yeah.
So
talking to John after the game, he was not too thrilled with the play of the game, but I mean, it is what it is. You know, they're young. They're still up and down, and 2 points is 2 points, right? So, you got anything else from that game?
No, not really. Other than congratulations to Connor Bedard for getting his 250th point,
right?
4th fastest in Pats history. So, congratulations to Connor. Congratulations to Suzdalev for getting his 35th of the season. Valis for his 20th. Sposal his 10th.
Yeah.
And back to the Winnipeg game. I think, didn't Howe get his 30th that game? I believe it was that game. But congratulations to all the players.
Yeah, Howe 30 in Winnipeg. Yeah.
Huge milestones. Congrats to all of them.
Well, I know. Like, Sposal, like, he had 3 points, or what was it, 3? 4? 3 against Winnipeg, and then another
4 against Red Deer, and he had 2 more again against Saskatoon.
So that's 9 points in 3 games this weekend. Like, jeez.
Sposal and Bedard both had 9 points this weekend.
Whew. Yeah, right. Like,
and Bedard didn't get on the scoreboard on Sunday. So,
all right. Yeah, before we get to Sunday, that's awesome.
It's impressive numbers against 2 of the top teams. Well, 3 of the top teams in the conference. The 3 top teams in the conference.
The 3 top. Yep. So, all right, we'll hear from coach and players following the Red Deer game now.
How would you describe that win tonight?
Very fortunate. I didn't, well, it starts with the first battle of every shift when there's a whistle. Like, after 2 periods, we were less than 33% on face-offs. So when that's the case, that means you're always chasing, and that's why they have the puck, and that's why they're in our end, and that's why they have most of the shots. So that's a tough way to play. But somehow we managed to get a couple shots in and actually have the lead.
Stanislav is a pretty dynamic player, huh?
He's a very dynamic, offensive player, yeah, for sure.
How much credit now to that kill in the third period? Well, huge, absolutely. 4 minutes and you're able to, they get a goal there. It's, well, I don't know. Maybe we still score 2 goals to tie it, and then, it changes the goalie pulled. But I agree. I think that if we hadn't killed that, things just don't work out the same probably.
Was that a playoff game style game tonight?
Oh, well, not by us it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. It was, yeah. We looked like the team that was playing 4 and 5 instead of them. So we should have lots left in the tank tomorrow. In the other 3 games this year, it's been us that's carried the play. We skated. We lost 4-2 in there in October, but we had 40-some shots, and we lost in overtime 6-5 in there, a pretty equal game. We beat them here 6-2 or something, and we just, I can say we didn't have our legs, but I don't even really know that. It seems like a little thing, but when you don't have the puck, it's hard to play because you're always defending. You're always under stress in your own end, and I don't know what those face-offs ended up, but I know what they were after 2 periods, and that's a big indication.
It's nice knowing that you have Bedard in a 3-on-3 situation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And you add him and you add Stan like that, talked about last night, our forwards, we got probably 3 sets of pairs of guys that can go out there. Suz was coming next with Valis, and then I had Spencer and Aremba coming who can really fly. So, yeah, but clearly when you have, Connor makes a lot of plays no matter what. 3 guys on the ice, there's more room for sure.
Valis gets going, he's a pretty big, strong player.
He's a real good young player. Coming from the programs he came from, and he's been improving each year. He played a lot with Connor, and we seem to have, some good chemistry there with Strings with them. And I switched it in the 3rd period just to try and find something, and it worked. And but he's got a chance to be a pro.
What can you say about the significance of that?
It's huge. I think that's where we get a lot of momentum, is shutting down their power plays, because it's a pretty good power play, so shutting it down gets a lot of momentum.
You feel a little fortunate to win this one tonight?
Oh yeah, it was huge. Good team, and it's just awesome beating them.
How are you feeling after that penalty kill?
Good. Feels good to win, so got to do it.
Take some of the bumps and bruises.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's the role. So.
This team's come back now 2 nights in a row. How is the team feeling? Not getting down on themselves?
No, I think we're feeling good. Going back into the dressing room, we're keeping the positivity up, not looking on the goals, so we're just looking to move forward. No, I think it's just starting with D-zone. I think we got a lot of talents up front, so as long as our D-zone is good, we can score goals.
What can you say about Stan? You obviously play with him all the time, and he seems to be a dominant player. Now, what have you seen from his growth?
I don't know. He's just an unreal player. He's just getting better. It looks like every game. So I don't know. It's just Stan. I don't know what else to say.
What's it like to play with him?
It's cool to watch. I like when I'm on the blue line and those 4 guys are just moving around in the O-zone. I got to watch the craziness happen.
Yeah, of course we're really happy with the 2 points, and I feel like that 2 goals in the end there to tie up and make the lead at first were pretty clutch there, and for sure very good 2 points there.
So you're skating towards the right circle. Bedard's going towards the wing, getting crushed in the boards. Did you know you were going to get that pass?
Yeah, a little bit. Basically, he can make those plays, so you kind of need to be in the right spot, and I think the goalie tried to poke check there too, so he kind of bounced on my stick. It's pretty lucky there, but good to get that one.
What can you say about Connor's game where all 3 guys are in the corner and you're wide open?
Yeah, of course. I think he draws a lot of attention on him, and he makes it easy for the other players to get open, and you have to understand that sometimes. And luckily they went all in the corner and left me alone there.
Did you feel that the team confidence is building as this win streak continues on?
Yeah, for sure. When you are on a roll, it's great, and you have good confidence. And the main focus right now is just not to take that away and slip that away. So that focus is going to be important tomorrow.
Talk about that wraparound. What's going through your mind there?
I saw how he shot it kind of, and it went to Bergie, and Bergie tried to rim it around, and I knew how he took that guy. So I knew Bedard was either in front of the net or going there. So I think I just took that puck to the front of the net, and whatever was going to happen was going to happen.
Do you think Hal left that for you on purpose?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But good thing he did. Killing off that huge power play, that 4 minutes, it got electric from there when we started blocking those shots. I mean, the fans got up and they were loud, so the bench was loud. So it all started from that PK.
You come down to this, right? I think that's 6 goals in 4 games for you against Red Deer this year. Do you have a bit of a scouting report on them, or is there something about playing them that kind of feeds into your style of play?
Yeah, I don't know. I think playing against them, I think they're all bigger bodies. I think for me, I'm a bigger body, so I have to step up in games like this. So I think that's the biggest thing. I think they play hard, so I think when we play against them, I think I have to play hard for the boys and for myself to make it harder on them as well.
Do you enjoy the 3-on-3, the overtimes, when you get those kind of opportunities?
Yeah. I just love being on the ice. Anything. I mean, PK, power play, 5-on-5, 3-on-3, 4-on-4. I mean, just everything in general. It's fun. More space, more time. It's cool. One little breakdown and it can end up in your net. So it's fun.
Is Connor vocal at all in the locker room as a leader? Does he ever say anything in the locker room?
Oh yeah, for sure. In between periods, he's like he always says something, always gets the boys going. If we're down, or even after games, if we lose, he would say that can't happen again, boys. Like that's even in OT after the third period, we were resting there. He took the coach's board and started drawing up plays off the face-off. So we were like, oh, he knows what he's doing. He's like, after the game, he's like, yeah, I've been thinking about this play for a week here, so let's try it. It was awesome. So I was like, yeah, I guess Connor can be a player and coach. So it was cool.
All right, yeah. So into Saskatoon, the old 3-3. Saskatoon is also playing 3-3. They had 2 at home, and then just a quick trip down here for Sunday. So not a ton of travel for them, none for the Pats. So it's going to be a pretty even game. And yeah, I didn't make it to this game, so I kind of had it on home. I didn't watch it too closely, but the Pats didn't have a very good start at all. Did they get a shot in the first 10 minutes of the period? I'm not sure. They had
not many. No, I think they had like 1 or 2 early, and that was
They didn't have a really good shift in the Saskatoon zone until like the 10-minute mark, it seemed.
So they're around there, yeah.
Yeah, there was one good shift. The second line had a good shift there, I remember. But yeah, it was just not a great game. And you said it didn't seem like either team was really had anything tonight, right?
It almost felt like it was teams playing up the stretch of the season. It didn't feel like a playoff game at all. Like there was hardly any. Like in the first period, I think there was like 13 faceoffs. It was fast. It was only 29 minutes, like from the start to the end of the period, and it just seemed like neither team really wanted to win. They were playing hockey, getting rid of the puck. There was nothing fancy about anything. There was hardly any hits, but it just wasn't. It wasn't a. I don't know. It wasn't a great game from either team, in my opinion. But Saskatoon found the way to score the goals, and they got the win.
Yeah, I mean, you get the first goal late in the first period. I mean, that kind of masks an ugly kind of first period, I thought. Suzdalev, again, great move at the blue line. Like, yeah, exactly. You're just shaking your head. Like,
I don't know what to say. That was one of the best. I don't know.
Yeah.
Every time he seems to do something great, it seems like he one-ups himself the next game or a couple games later. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
If you want to see the highlight, find it on the Pats Twitter. It was a beauty play.
It was, yeah. I had Matt, the old co-host, text me. He was at the game. He hasn't made too many games, but he said, he's like, wow, that move by Suzdalev on the blue line to set up that goal was outstanding. Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, he's gotten a lot better over this season. Like
the vision he's got, like he'll, and like I said, he takes passes that, or he makes passes that no one else will even probably think of. there's probably like a handful of players that would even try a pass like that would make it.
Exactly.
A lot of players would try it and they wouldn't
Fail.
make it.
Yeah.
But he finds people that are open that shouldn't be open and gets scoring opportunities to those players. It's unbelievable.
Well,
he
yeah,
needs to shoot more too.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. He's making these great passes, and guys are scoring off it because it's a great pass. They're wide open, or it's like a cross crease or back door or whatever. So the guy's got wide open nets, and Bedard and Suzdalev are finishing this stuff like
and
easily.
And those
yeah,
guys,
right. Like it's just like they're tap-ins and stuff. And then, like, even the goal, I forgot to mention the goal in Red Deer. Like, he cuts across the crease and goes, around the goalie. Like, that was a great goal.
And a great play by Stringer. To make sure the defenseman and the goalie couldn't get over.
Yeah, it was a little, not interference, but he just stood his ground.
Really? He was screening the goalie. He wasn't really interfering or anything. He just kind of stood there. And
yeah, so. But back to the Saskatoon game, there was some pretty weak defensive play leading to a couple of those goals. And
it was like I guess we were talking before. It was just it was a bad. I think it was a bad game all around. Saskatoon was the better of the bad.
Yeah,
because they weren't even that strong. Like it was normally like I compare them kind of like to the ice, how they have three lines that can score. Like like they don't score a ton, but they come at you.
They're even.
Come at you. And today it just seemed like they took advantage of opportunities. They made the best of the opportunities, and they got the win.
Yeah, it's
well
not
deserved. Like they played well enough to win.
It's not like they dominated the game. Like that one game here where I think that was while both Bedard and Suzdalev were gone, that it was just like they were on another level compared to the Pats. Like that was like, the Pats had no chance in that game. It seemed like, like you said, it's a little more even game. They were just the better of the worst teams, right?
Yeah, I can't really say they were the worst. It like I said, it was almost like they were just playing the game to get the weekend over with. Saskatoon wanted to go home. The Pats wanted to go eat or go home and go to bed or whatever. Yeah. I don't know what, but that's what it felt like. They just wanted to get it over with. Like there was no penalties until like there was the scrap. Other than the scrap,
there was a fight. Yeah, right.
Like, other than it was a delay of game, and there was hardly any physical play between the two teams. There was a couple bumps. There was no physical stuff until the second period, third period, and then it slowed down. But whatever. It was a game.
Yeah, some of those calls were pretty rough. Like like you said, there wasn't many penalties, but some of them were pretty ticky tacky and not great calls. But it is what it is. Nobody scored on the power play, so it is what it is. Yeah, like shots 37-24. Yeah, not great for the Pats, but not terrible. Face-offs are pretty even. So
the third period. The Pats had 3 shots with about 18 minutes left. They pulled Sim and they got 2 or 3 shots within a matter of like 10 seconds when they were crashing the net.
Right. Yeah.
And then they scored the empty netter, and that was it.
So, but yeah, like you said, just two teams just trying to get through this 3-3 weekend and get home. But yeah, like you said, overall a good weekend. 4 points off 3 top teams in the conference.
I think it's a little bit better than a good weekend. I think it was a great weekend.
Great weekend. Okay, let's go with that. Right.
4 to 6 points against the top 3 teams, which a lot of people were basically writing the Pats off for this weekend. I was not writing them off, but I was hoping for 2, potentially 3, and 4 exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
By miles. They may not have been the prettiest, but they beat the ice for the first time since they moved to Winnipeg. They beat the Rebels, and I'm happy with that.
Yep. So, you're looking at the standings now. Pats are in 6th place. They're 5 behind Lethbridge, 4 up on Medicine Hat, who they play next weekend, both. So those are another huge 2 games. And then, so they've used up 1 game in hand from Lethbridge. So that's, they're close, but, fight 5th might be not out of the picture, but it's getting tight to get there.
But it's only 5 points. It's not that.
No.
It's not that far. 4th is probably off the table.
Yeah, I think 10 points behind Moose Jaw with 9 games. Moose Jaw has 7 games to go. But I mean, Moose Jaw.
I won't count them out.
No, Moose Jaw's 4-6 in their last 10. You know, obviously they've been struggling since they've lost those guys, but they're not tanking like a Calgary has or anything, right? So,
Calgary's kind of
they're out of the playoffs now.
Really gone, yeah.
Yeah, 2-7-0-1. They're in 9th now, 1 point behind Swift Current, but who won that game tonight? Oh, Calgary did beat Swift Current.
Yeah, they came
Sunday.
back.
So
they scored like 3 third-period goals or something.
Okay, so that's a huge win for them because if they would have lost that's real tough.
But yeah, it's between 6th and 11th. It's now 12 points. So the Pats have gained some ground. That 6-game winning streak
really helped. Yeah.
So as long as they continue to win, get a few more wins, I don't think make the playoffs and then worry about the seeding, but just get the playoff position.
Just get in, right?
And then if you have to play Winnipeg, well, whoever plays Winnipeg, good luck in the first round.
Yeah, but I mean,
Pats or whomever.
Yeah, I mean they'd have to go on a 6-game losing streak here to drop down to 8, 9, right? They as long as you keep collecting points here and there, obviously they're not going to win every game, and they shouldn't lose every game, right? So
yeah, for sure.
I think 6th, 7th is looking pretty reasonable, right? Just try to stay out of that hole, right?
Yeah, just get in the playoffs first.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Right? Because you never know, anything can happen, right? So
yeah, like look at last year with 1-8 in the
West
Conference last year. So
definitely,
it's kind of funny that Vancouver has 55 points in the West and they've clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Pats have 10 more points and they're not even guaranteed a spot yet. So
Moose Jaw's not even locked in at 75 points.
That's true. Yeah,
like that's crazy.
They should be locked in pretty quick. Though.
Yeah, I think maybe if Calgary would have lost today, I think they were on the cusp today. So
yeah, it's close.
Pretty close.
Still clinch right away.
Yeah, so I guess looking over at the stats, obviously Bedard way ahead, 123, Benson 97. So that's 26-point gap now.
That's unbelievable.
That is huge, right? Talked about
the fact that Bedard's played 10 less games too than Benson, so
yeah,
that's even more unbelievable.
Exactly. Suzdalev's dropped off a bit, 77 points, down in 10th now. But talking about him, I think he's a pretty heavy Rookie of the Year candidate. Like he'd probably be leading, I think, the whole league in chance of winning the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it all depends. He's because he's 18.
Yeah,
he's an 04, so I don't know what their ratings or whatever their evaluations will be, but he's almost 20 points up on the next highest scoring rookie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's 19 up on Grayson Shawichin from Seattle.
Yeah. So.
And then he's 16. He's 17, I believe. So it's not like he's a 16-year-old or anything. In 05.
So. Yeah. It all depends on what they decide to do with the Rookie of the Year. So.
I can't remember what year was it. 1920. Let's go rookies. Yeah, I don't know who won it in 1920, but Michael Tepley was the leading point getter for Winnipeg. He was an 18-year-old rookie as well. Gunther was a 17-year-old, and he was second. I don't know who won Rookie of the Year that year, but I remember it came up in my Facebook memories that we discussed it. 18-year-old, should he be eligible? But I guess now it's come full circle. Pats have that situation, and
well, he was named Rookie of the Month
twice,
so he is a rookie. So,
right,
technically,
I know. I seen a good suggestion online. They should have like a best 16-year-old award too, or something like that,
or have best first-year player.
There you go.
Like a first-year import or whatever, or a 16, 17-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
Because a lot of teams, 16-year-old rookies don't play a bunch. They sit on the bench.
Right.
And they play 4 or 5 minutes or whatever. There's not many guys that are 16 that are
putting up
top end guys.
Yeah.
So
right. And then the imports are usually 18, 19, 17, 18, 19, right? They're usually older because they don't come over here at 16, right?
Yeah.
right? Svozil came at 18. Suzdalev's come at 18, right?
Yeah. So they could make a raw rookie or like a 16, 17, or do that and have a best first year or 18 and up or whatever. I don't know what they could do.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Because they could have guys that are playing college or whatever and decide to come back here.
Yeah. Well,
at
some
18,
of these
19, 20 and light the league up.
Yeah. Well, some of these
are they rookies?
imports have played pro over there, right? So
yeah. It's a pretty interesting discussion. Something they probably could have or should have fixed a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like have a legit raw rookie versus an import rookie or whatever.
An older rookie per se.
Or have the best import.
Yeah, that too. Have a best import award. Nothing wrong with that.
Something, yeah.
Then does he win both, best import and rookie of the year? Right.
Well, Honzek from Vancouver, he was having a pretty good year until he got hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they could be in the conversation with each other if he would have been healthy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting what they do because he has been named rookie of the week, rookie of the month a couple times. So
yeah,
he is a rookie according to the league. So
yeah. Wow, with that many goals, I mean it's he's putting up some outstanding numbers, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So I guess look ahead to next week. You got Edmonton in. So Ken Schneider mentioned it on the post game on the radio show. You know, it could be a trap game, right? You can't let off. Yes, it's Edmonton, but
I don't think it'll be a trap game.
I think they should be dialed in, right? Like, you know,
and Edmonton's down a few players. They lost a few guys for the rest of the year, like some of their main guys. So they're struggling. So
yeah, but I mean, Ken's not going to say that, right? He's
of course not. Yeah,
he's going to say, "Hey, we got to be focused. We can't, you know, he said can't get into bad habits, stuff like that." You know, we talked about the Red Deer game maybe not being the greatest, and same with this Saskatoon game. So they got to get back on it, right? They got to get back to their game, and then because that's I don't want to call it a tune-up, but 2 huge games on the weekend at Lethbridge, at Medicine Hat. Like, those are 2 massive games for the standings.
Edmonton's lost their 11th straight.
Okay.
So I don't give them too much of a hope.
Too much, but you don't want to give them any hope.
With the Sunday game, with a lot of the guys definitely not playing up to what they could play, I kind of almost feel sorry for Edmonton. I hope I'm not jinxing anything, but I think a certain number 98 will be dialed in, and he'll get his 60th of the season, and then some. So
all right,
yeah,
yeah. And what did so you were on the first intermission show on Saturday
I made
night.
my debut on CKRM. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Dante threw it to you. He said, well, "What do you think? What's your prediction?" And I can't remember, what did you say? Like
he blindsided me. I'm like, I think he could get 70. No, like I'm not a predictor.
Yeah, I know, right? Through you.
So I said 70, and he's like, well, Elite Prospects has him at, like he said, 72 or something in 144
prediction.
points, or Elite Prospects or whatever. I'm like, I think he can hit 70. He's at 59. They got 9 games left. I can see him hitting 70.
He was scoring at a goal and a half a game pace, right? So
yeah. So
obviously, he took not a night off, but he took a 0 here on Sunday, and maybe he makes up for it on Wednesday against Edmonton.
I think he will, because he'll have something. He'll have a point to prove.
Yeah,
get back going.
Lethbridge is going to be tough, right? They shut him down last time in Lethbridge, so that might be a tough game for him. And in Medicine Hat, he should be able to.
But having a couple days off to just relax. Well, he probably doesn't relax ever, but
no, I don't think so.
To get away from an actual game for a day, and then probably get back to practice on Tuesday. I bet he's gonna go off. I have a feeling a few players are gonna go off a little bit on Wednesday.
All right, cool.
I
like that.
I hope I'm not jinxing everything or anything, but I feel kind of sorry for Edmonton.
All right.
I didn't jinx you guys. You guys better score some goals for me.
Yeah. So
I want a whole bunch of goals in the recap.
Yeah, stuff to write about and keep Kevin busy on Wednesday night.
Don't be too fancy. If you guys are listening to this, don't be too fancy.
Yeah.
Just score some goals.
Just score. Yeah.
Play your game and score some goals.
There you go. That's a great point. All right. Anything else you got for that? That was a pretty, like I said, a pretty good weekend. Great weekend.
It was
so
it was an unbelievable weekend.
Yeah.
Because when they did the schedule in June or whatever they did the schedule, I don't think anybody predicted those three teams to be 1, 2, 3.
You knew they'd be solid. Winnipeg was going to be good. Red Deer and Saskatoon solid.
But nobody expected it to be like 1, 2, 3 like this, probably. Like in June compared to now, no one knows anything.
No.
But
and like John said last week, it's not the greatest schedule, 3-3, but at least 3-3 at home is better than 3-3 on the road or with some travel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great for the attendance, he said, maybe, or marketing, but it is what it is.
Got better with the weekend.
The
attendance got better. It was 49,499, then 5,400, and then just over 6,000. So
okay, there you go. So, but I mean, this schedule's so hard to make. Like, there's I guess 12 teams you really got to deal with on a not a daily basis, but to hammer out your conference schedule, right? Because it's pretty easy, not easy, but to get the out of conference stuff handled, it's not too bad. But to get all these games, in and out, like teams want these dates, other teams want these dates. It's such a give and take. So this stuff happens.
Especially teams like Winnipeg, where they're kind of stuck with what kind of
situation
they have for their arena and stuff right now.
Yeah.
So
right, 9-10 games on the road in a row, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
and they started the season with a whole bunch of games on the road.
That's
too,
right.
So
Yeah. Because they were getting rentals done. So I don't know what
for being such a strong team, their schedule has been real gong show for them. So
to battle through that schedule and have this type of record, but obviously they've got that strong team. I don't know what the reason was they're on the road for this length of time. Maybe, like you said, we were discussing it at the game. Maybe it was the playoffs, like the Bison's men and women have playoffs potentially, so that they've got it booked, and then the team makes
the arena just to have it.
Yeah, because they can't not have it available because they are the primary attendance, where the ice are secondary, and so the ice, they got to make their schedule and they got to be on the road.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think the Bison's men made the playoffs or whatever it was, but they get first crack, and that's what happens when you're kind of stuck at somebody else's arena. So,
oh yeah.
But yeah, about the only other thing I had, we didn't know what was going to happen with Rob Vanstone leaving. What kind of media coverage? I mean, looks like the Leader Post have picked up a guy. He's not too sure of his situation yet. He said he's maybe just getting trialed here. And Brad Brown, he's done some good work. He seems like a nice guy.
Props to him. I heard him talking to I think Britton Gray today, and he was like, I'm not sure what's happening after this weekend, so we may see him Wednesday, we may not, we don't know, but his the first two, I haven't seen the Sunday one yet, but his first two stories for the Pats games, top notch.
Yeah, he said he's covered the Riders. He covered the Riders a while back for a while, so I don't know what outlet he was covering them for, but yeah.
And he was at the Star Phoenix for a little while, I think he said. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, yeah. I really liked his Friday night one. I don't know if I've read his Saturday night yet, but
it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good. So
yeah, no, for sure.
No complaints here from not having any coverage until this weekend.
Right. Yeah.
Good on him for getting the good stories out.
Yeah,
good ones
jumping into something that maybe he doesn't know that well. Obviously, he doesn't know the ins and outs of the team lately per se, right? So, yeah. And then, I don't know, like you said, Britton Gray was there tonight. He's there semi-regularly, but, for being what the Pats are, who they've got, stretch drive, looking to make these playoffs, there isn't a ton of, nightly game coverage. It's kind of a little sad, isn't it?
It's very sad. Like, it was 8 minutes before the game was to start. There was nobody sitting beside me then. Then Brad showed up, and then a few minutes later, Britton showed up just before the anthem. So I was like, hey, at least there's some coverage tonight.
Yeah,
I was happy for that.
Brad did mention he was going to be game time. He wasn't going to be there early, so
he
knew
showed
he
up
was
just
going to be
before
there.
the anthem. So
yeah, but yeah, I know it is kind of sad, right? Like, it's a few nights it was just me and Nathan doing question. So, but I guess it is what it is. I mean, it is the media landscape is changing, right? So.
Oh yeah.
But
it's kind of going the way of the dinosaur kind of thing especially with the print media.
Yeah.
But hey.
Yeah, and I don't watch local TV that much, but I think they do more of their work just during practice and just do kind of the story type stuff.
And if they do show highlights, they'll just get them from the WHL,
the
WHL live feed or CHL live feed or whatever, and that's all they show.
Yeah.
Like a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see Dante on like one of the morning shows.
Yeah,
or whatever,
he'll do that stuff
every once in
yeah.
a while, but they don't have. I don't know if they don't have time or they just don't want to. But I don't know if it just doesn't drive enough viewers or views or whatever.
Well, yeah, I don't know,
everything seems to be about clicks. So
I know, and
there's not enough clicks.
And I know even Murray, when he was here for a couple games for the Leader Post, and Bedard drives clicks, so they want to interview him obviously on as much as they can, but he said there is a difference between obviously not that Bedard isn't in the story most nights, he kind of is obviously with his play, but he's like it definitely there's a difference between a Bedard kind of story and a non-Bedard story, so that's kind of the thing, without him, whatever, it doesn't seem like that the Pats as a team are driving enough maybe interest, so which is it's kind of sad, but
yeah, it just seems to be the way everything's going.
Yeah, for sure. People got other interests. They're not, whatever. They're just not as interested in the hockey or the Pats or for whatever reason. But yeah, but it is what it is. That's kind of our little rant, I guess, for the night. But
a little off topic, but it was worth it, worth talking about.
Yeah. So
because I hope if Brad doesn't stick around, hopefully they do find someone to cover the games for Leader Post, because the Leader Post at one point in time had like 10 people working in the sports department.
Yeah, and it was 10 good guys that moved on and are still like well known. It's not like they just had some 10 random guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And what was it? Greg Jordan tweeted out that the Leader Post sports department was dead. Like there was actually nobody in the sports department. And I totally believe it. When Murray left.
Yeah, there's zero.
There was nobody.
It was just Rob and Murray, and they left within a couple days of each other. Like that's.
Someone said 6 days apart.
Yeah. Right.
What do you do?
Yeah. What do you do? Like I said, especially the print media, it is dying. Like there's nothing else to say about it, right?
Well, when the deadline is so early the previous day, you can't even do game stories or anything anymore
that are relevant for the newspaper, right? It's all
exactly.
online. You print it, you do it for online. You're not doing it for the print paper anymore.
And a lot of the stories they do on players or like things that are happening that go in the print paper, they post online like the day before or the morning of, and people will read it there instead. So it's like
exactly
that doesn't make any sense. But whatever, it's not my business.
No, I mean you got to get it online. You might as well get it on when you can, and then it goes in the paper whenever it goes in the paper, right?
Yeah.
If it's not relevant, it's not time sensitive, it doesn't really matter when it goes in the paper per se, right? It can go a day or two later, like one of those stories, right? Like a player story or such like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's enough for this week with interviews and stuff, and the kind of a longer one again. Trying to keep them shorter, but we're bringing the interviews.
When you have 3 games, and a few things to talk about, it gets a little longer. Well,
yeah,
whatever.
So we appreciate your listenership. If you're still with us, a few of you that listen to the whole thing, appreciate it. But yeah, maybe some of these interviews didn't come out online yet. So if you didn't see it, say Friday nights. If you're looking for Friday nights interviews, there's some here that you caught. So hopefully you're happy about that. And yeah, we'll keep bringing you the interviews every week like usual. So, but I think with that, that's all I got. That's all you got?
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, one game this week at home, so see you at the rink on Wednesday. Good night, folks.
Have a good one.
Winnipeg gains the line. Benson in the slot. Shoots. Good block by Howe. Back down the ice. Here comes Bedard to put this one away. Partial breakaway. Score!